Hey guys, how's it going? Got a new Terminator Genesis trailer out today, and man, did we all just need to talk about it. So we're doing a little miniature roundtable action here.
Emergency roundtable.
Emergency so much that we're stuck here in front of the green screen, sitting on these goddamn boxes. But hey, we're here and we're talking because, guys, what the hell happened in this new Terminator trailer?
Yeah, they revealed a pretty big plot twist right in the middle of that trailer.
A Shyamalan
Shyamalan-esque twist.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting that this comes today after we just had a giant conversation about spoilers.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
because I believe that this trailer is one giant f***ing spoiler.
Right.
And if you haven't seen this trailer and you hate spoilers, don't watch it.
Here's the thing. Here's what happened. So if you haven't seen the trailer and you don't want to go see the trailer because you want to come in fresh to Terminator Genesis, stay the fuck away from this one, all right? Yeah. And also, here's your big time spoiler alert for the rest of this video. So what happened in this trailer is it's going along and it seems like sort of an expanded version of the rest of the trailers, and then all of a sudden John Connor is a f***ing Terminator.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Not so much confused as to like the logistics of it or like how dare they turn John Connor. It's like I am fascinated at the decision to include that in this trailer.
Yeah. My theory is honestly they ran out of action scenes with the liquid metal Terminator, and they're like, we got to show more action because we saw a while away, so I guess we have to reveal this.
I don't know. When I was watching it, I got the distinct impression that like this was a decision motivated by panic. It seemed like this trailer is a reaction to all of the negativity that the previous trailers have gotten on the internet, and it almost felt like this is something that they're like, look, we need to like throw in a crowbar to this whole thing. We need to just revamp this entire marketing campaign.
Sort of like, okay, you guys aren't on board yet. Seriously, here's everything. Here's what the movie's going to be. Come on. Just show up.
It's not going to affect whether or not I like the movie. If the movie's good, I'm going to like it, even though the entire plot has now been ruined. That being said, I am now twice as interested in the movie.
That's the thing, me too.
It worked.
Yeah.
It did work.
Son of a bitch, it worked.
Yeah.
The other thing, there were those set photos that were leaked way back where it's, and now there's a scene from it in the trailer where, you know, Emilia Clarke and Jai Courtney are in scrubs, and they're talking to John Connor in a suit.
So, because now in this trailer, there is good future John Connor, like human good future John Connor, evil, half Terminator, half human, has a completely different agenda than the Terminator's John Connor, but is clearly the bad guy. Child John Connor. Probably in utero conceived John Connor at some point.
Yes.
Like and Eddie Furlong was on set as a PA.
He's just getting work where he can.
Fun fact. Things you didn't know.
Also, you have a Grandpa Terminator.
Grandpa Terminator.
Pops. And then meanwhile, you have...
And normal Terminator.
And normal Terminator.
And liquid metal Terminator.
And liquid metal Terminator. Yeah. Meanwhile, you have Sarah Connor, who is the same age throughout.
Oh, no. Well, there's little girl Sarah Connor.
Yes, there is.
So,
I think what I find really... Why it got me more interested is not the John Connor twist, but the idea that them continuing to fuck with time in order to save humanity has now fucked them over royally.
Totally.
This twist made the time logic of what's going on infinitely more confusing to me.
Yes.
Right.
I've been able to keep up with it. Like, I get it. But now, all of a sudden, with this twist, I'm like, okay, wait. So how long... There was another... Grandpa Terminator got sent back to Sarah Connor as a kid. Then, like, it all gets way fuzzier. It really fucks up Truly's whole map of the Terminator.
Oh, Truly's map is
Truly, and he's pissed, by the way. He's furious.
I think it's pretty much guaranteed that it is not going to make perfect sense. I think you kind of just have to concede, you know what, there's going to be some holes in there, and you either are just going to run with it or you're going to, you know, blog about it and be mad.
And again, if it's a good movie, it's a good movie.
Right.
And, you know, if there's a hole in there that doesn't break the movie, then don't worry about it.
Exactly.
I'm still wondering about Matt Smith, though, because I have not shown him in the trailers, but he was on, like, the cover of Entertainment Weekly with everybody.
Yeah,
so
screaming.
It's starting to get a little strange they haven't shown him, which makes me think he's a much bigger part, and maybe what Truly said in his timeline thing was correct about Matt Smith. He thought that Matt Smith might be another version of John Connor in the future. You know, because they're doing. It seems like there's like parallel dimensions.
And that's the other option here. That's the other thing, because the knee-jerk reaction is to be like, why would you reveal that twist? Why would John Connor being a Terminator not be something that you save for the movie?
Right.
They must have twists on twists on twists.
What if it's a double blind, you know?
Yeah.
So what else could happen? Like, it could be that John Connor, they made an imitation John Connor.
They made an imitation because
which
it's
makes sense.
possible.
Him back.
Yeah.
Totally possible.
Yeah. Apparently made out of nanobots or nanites.
Looks like
Yeah,
so,
he's like,
right?
well, that's the thing. He's like, he's not a Terminator. He's like something else.
Yeah.
He's like the evolution of a Terminator.
So what the trailer is leading us to believe is that John Connor, because his mother instilled "you have to survive" in him so strongly,
Right.
that he sort of like assimilated a little bit with the machines
Yeah.
and became part machine himself, so that he could still survive.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Like so
Which
like
makes-
Neo at the end of the Matrix.
Which is
Yeah.
an interesting way to go.
Having Sarah Connor and John Connor be raised by a Terminator
Yeah.
basically means that like they've always been Terminators themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and the interesting thing then is it becomes a scenario where a woman who was raised by a Terminator,
Yes.
along with her lover from the future, who is father to their son, are now trying to kill their son, come back from the future as a part robot.
Right.
That's
while
simple,
while
right?
trying to
Oh,
then conceive their son
They're
And-
still going to have to do that.
and raise him better than they did when they fucked him up
Yeah.
and turned him into a
Because
Terminator.
that's the other thing. It's like, at what point do Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor bone and thereby create John Connor?
Yeah, they don't even have
True.
time to bone.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tense situation.
Although when he
So-
shows up, maybe she's like, "Daddy said I have to bone you now."
That would be great if she has like an ovulation stopwatch throughout the whole movie, and they just like pause to screw
Is
every
it,
now and then.
maybe that's their entire plan, is make a Terminator look like John Connor for the ultimate cock block. It's like, we can't do it. Our son's right over there, and he's
It's like,
weird.
and you think they would just do it with him watching?
Well, no, I didn't say that. that would be weird.
Sarah Connor being the same age throughout, like, now makes me wonder: can she time travel?
Are they hopping around?
Are they
in time?
popping back and forth? Because
Because-
it's Emilia Clarke talking to 5-year-old John Connor. It's Emilia Clarke
Talking to Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese. And obviously there are different time periods represented because, even just the look of the Golden Gate Bridge thing is different from the 1980 whatever, from the store when Kyle Reese shows up. So it feels like they're popping back and forth through time.
I don't know. I felt like it was just like, she's at the age with Kyle Reese, and then it's like 5 years later with John. And so, they're like, yeah, you basically.
Oh, so for
look
the
around
second half of
same.
the movie, they're like trucking around this little kid. But then where the little
Yeah, no, you're right. It doesn't make any sense, does
I mean,
it?
unless it all takes place in the same time when John Connor is like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And then everything takes place. So, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, look, it may take place,
But also,
all in the same time period.
supposedly, Kyle Reese shows up to conceive John Connor. So how is he 5 years old?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So maybe,
Fair point.
and
I mean, the thing is, we have no idea. Like, maybe it is just a Terminator that looks like John Connor and is not John Connor and is screwing with them because
Yeah.
they're deceptive machines.
Yes.
But it does open up a really interesting can of worms of this idea of maybe him becoming this Terminator, this sort of like Ghost in the Shell sort of transformation.
Yeah.
That's certainly the more up and more interesting version of
Yeah.
that. Like, if it is just a Terminator in disguise, we've more or less seen that before,
Yeah.
just not for such an extended version. So, I think it's a pretty big play of them to make, but I think it would make for a more interesting movie.
Well, the thing too is like I like the idea of all of this pressure that Sarah Connor has put on John for his whole life. All of these, like, you have to survive no matter what. And then for her to see that be sort of perverted in a way to where he's sort of assimilated with the robots and everything, and then so her decisions are all being questioned and everything, like, that's super interesting, I think. And in a way that makes this trailer not a spoilery thing at all. That makes the trailer like, no, these are the questions that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting.
And Sarah Connor Chronicles used to pose a lot of those questions.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love that show so much. But in some ways, it feels like if the direction they're taking is that it is John Connor and he did this to himself in order to beat the machines, the irony of that is great. But it's also sort of like a more interesting version of what Terminator... It's like what Terminator Salvation should have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because that was kind of the question Terminator Salvation was dealing with.
But it didn't get anywhere close.
But it didn't get anywhere close.
Yeah. The thing is that, you know, now it's funny because last year we were having these discussions about like female-run action franchises, and now all of a sudden like that is the thing now. I mean, we're even looking at the new Logan's Run movie. They're now trying to rewrite it to make it a female lead because after things like Divergent and of course Hunger Games, you know, that's the new thing. So
there are more young women that can carry a franchise than men.
For sure, point. Yeah.
And Terminator arguably has always been a female-led franchise. I mean, like the
Terminator 2 was her movie.
The good movies are her movies.
Yeah.
Terminator 2, I think, is better than Terminator 1. That's definitely her movie.
And
even Terminator 1, though, like
is her movie.
Is kind of her movie.
And the Sarah Connor Chronicles are a lot of people's favorite part about the Terminator franchise.
And I think
because Salvation, Terminator 3 and Salvation don't
suck.
And I remember when Terminator 3 was announced, and it was like before we knew anything about what the movie itself was actually going to be, it was like, oh, we cast this guy. I was like, whatever, cool. Oh, Claire Danes. I was like, oh, cool, I like Claire Danes. Oh, Linda Hamilton's not back. I remember my first reaction, and almost everyone knows first reaction, being like, what's the point?
Linda Hamilton's not back. She's dead, but her coffin is full of guns.
Totally. I don't know about the rest of you, but I had this reaction when Jai Courtney was there and she introduced him to the Terminator and he bashed through the door. I'm like, does he do this every time?
Yeah, every time he walks through a door, he just knocks it down.
Like, oh, I gotta fix the door again.
He's the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's just tip of the iceberg, I get the feeling. I mean, you know, there's going to be more trailers and more clips and TV spots and everything that will either illuminate whatever they're doing or they'll make it more cryptic. Who knows? Either way, I think we all agree that I'm more into it now.
I'm definitely more interested.
And especially even from when we sat down to do this, I was kind of pissed. But then just talking through it, like I'm more into this movie now.
Yeah,
that I know what they're doing.
I want for this movie to be good so badly.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Like so badly, it kind of hurts my stomach.
Right.
And it's never been a film series predicated on twists.
No.
It's been confusing, but not really like a big twist at the end.
But again, we don't know what's going on with John Connor. How's it? Like maybe John Connor's been half robot like this whole time, and he's been sabotaging humans, the resistance in the future. Who knows?
Maybe he's the one that sent Pops all the way back to ensure that he would roboticize himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Look, I think there are going to be twists aplenty in this movie, so I'm not real worried about them revealing the fact that John Connor's some kind of robot in this movie. I think it's a weird, bold choice.
Yeah.
But I like it because for the most part, I don't know what the fuck this movie was going to be.
Yeah.
And now I got a clearer idea, or I at least got like a more interesting set of options as to what this movie might be.
Yeah.
now, you know?
Totally.
So, all right. Well, let us know what you think about the trailer for Terminator Genisys. Thanks for sitting in on our conversation. Let us know how right or wrong you think we are down there. I know you're going to do it anyway. Click like and subscribe. Stick around for more movie news and CineFix Now.